man just griefed my build. Oh man, I think he's griefed it multiple times. He put it in like the best spot possible though. Put a little grass block right there. I do need to turn off Enderman grief somehow. Oh, careful there, buddy. Anyways, a new day, a new sunrise, and a new episode. So we finally finished the bottom of the bridge by kind of filling in the little spots with some tuff. And I guess it's kind of completely done now. I probably, things aren't always completely done ever. So, eventually maybe I'll be adding some little details kind of around the area. Who knows, maybe there's a little homeless guy sleeping under the bridge. So kind of throughout, I'll probably be adding some more tiny details throughout. Maybe not specifically for the bridge, but just kind of the generalized area. And kind of as I've been building, I've been thinking about kind of building this world up and giving it a little more life. And we've got this donkey here, our magnificent steed, and I think it's time to finally give him a name. So I've got a name tag here, and he shall now be known as Donkey Hote. Oh yeah, what a punny name. Don Quixote. He's my valiant noble steed. But in today's episode, we're going to be working on the inside of the gate here. So, based on the thumbnail, I'm probably gonna have the doors open. That's gonna be in a creative world, because I'm not actually gonna break this down just to make a thumbnail, but we're gonna be building the interior of the gate here. Hopefully we don't choke out our donkey right here. Oh, there you go. Still need to fix that. But we're gonna be working on the interior of the gate. So we're gonna be working on kind of a hallway that enters the main city here. So I'm gonna break down the rest of this up here. I'm gonna gather quite some resources and then build this grand hallway. Unfortunately, it won't be the grandest of hallways just because the entrance and the cave it's not that large of a distance. What are you holding, man? More grass blocks. Gotta stop him from griefing my stuff. But like I was saying, the hallway won't be too long. I know when you think Dwarven, you kind of think, or at least I think, of these grand hallways, kind of like what you would see in Lord of the Rings, like Moria. There'd be these massive, massive hallways where once they enter the city, they kind of walk through. And while I would have loved to do that, the distance from the entrance and the cave is not the largest. So it's going to be kind of a limited hallway. It'll still be pretty grand, but just not nearly as lengthy as I would like it to be. Gonna turn on the gamma just to have a better recording here. So I'm not 100% sure what else we'll be doing for this episode yet. I do want to do this hallway, and then I'll probably add a few other things, just so it's not just simply the hallway, but I think we'll also maybe add a road system, at least a main road kind of coming up here towards the rest of the city. That way we'll have a blueprint of where we can kind of place the rest of the buildings that are going to be coming in the future. But with that being said, it's time for a resource gathering montage. Let's get to it then. Hit it. Well, we did a lot of resource gathering, and I think we're finally set to kind of work on the interior of this Dwarven gate. But also, we also did a little decoration of our starter base. Did a little private little room right here. Kept all the floor as stone, because I think that makes sense for some dwarves to kind of just use the natural stone, and then, I don't know, parts that they had to cover up, they'd put tiles, like these polished andesite would just be kind of the flooring that they put in. But it's a pretty small little bedroom right in there. Master bedroom. Coming out, there's the living room with some storage space, a little shelf right here at the entrance of the door, and then a little fireplace to cook, which I've been cooking my potatoes like that and kind of just collecting them up. That way I don't have to use fuel. This table was originally 3 blocks wide, and I decided to shrink it a little bit to kind of give myself a little more space in here. But we are lacking some like small little things that you need silk touch to gather, but little decoration items in the future would be great for interiors. Things like turtle eggs and amethyst shards and all that. Looks like my meal's all cooked up. And then, you know, a little table, a little painting. And then coming in here would be probably another room. And then if I knock out this spot right here, there is some more space back there that I could extend the house to. But honestly, this is pretty snug, pretty nice for a little dwarven apartment, I think. The upstairs and downstairs, like the basement apartment and the upstairs apartment, are pretty empty. I did try to like add a little wall segment to see what I would do the interior for this like. But I don't know. I'm not too sure about doing interiors for every single build I do, just because it does add a lot of time. And you know, a lot of times when you're building these large cities, a lot of the builds are facades, but it definitely adds to the immersion when you're able to do interiors for every single build. But anyways, coming out towards the gate entrance, we've got our dug up hallway. So I cleared out a bunch of space here to put in the Dwarven hall. We're exposed to the sunlight right now. We're exposed to the outdoors, so not very Dwarven right now, but it's gonna be a pretty grand hallway. It's gonna extend into the cave. I did leave some of the stone in certain spots where I didn't have to demolish. Just kind of leaves like an outline of what we're gonna be doing. But there's gonna be these little faces or little statues. Not really statues, but I guess when you like walk in, it's gonna be kind of like dwarven faces for, I don't know, maybe some old dwarven kings or some, you know, dwarven motifs. But anyways, I think that's enough talking. It's time to start building this large dwarven hallway. Let's get to it, shall we? Well, the hallway's done, so let's finally take a little peek inside. Coming through our dwarven gate right here, we've got the dwarven hall. It's like I said, it's not the longest of halls. I think I would have liked to add maybe 3 more sections to make it really long, but unfortunately this is what we got since the cave is right there, and I don't want to take away from the actual city space, so we're just gonna kind of leave this little section right here and be okay with it. So basically there'd probably be some guards kind of standing out here for inspection whenever somebody's coming by with a cart or someone wants to enter the city. They'd have security at the front, and then when they finally get approval to enter, there'd be probably more guards kind of standing. So you kind of have these sentry guards kind of just standing here menacingly so that you don't act up. So after coming in the dwarven gate, you've got this hall, and same dwarven little door design here. We just kind of did this little pattern. It's supposed to be like some art deco type thing, or I kind of wanted to add some like geometric type things for the dwarves. But coming in though, we've got these dwarven faces inside. is, oh, full bright's off. Okay, so this is without the full bright mod. So the gamma is fine. So this is the natural lighting in this hallway. But each little section, we've got a dwarven face. It's supposed to be kind of the villager face, very square, rectangular face. But they each got a different beard. So magnificent beard here, magnificent beard here, all different styles of beards. I'd like to think that each one is kind of a very renowned dwarven king in the past. And then lore-wise, the citizens of the dwarven kingdom would occasionally come here and put some offerings right in the middle. I wanted to put some amethyst clusters, kind of things that would match the dwarven vibe. So things like amethyst clusters, redstone, and I don't know, copper dripstone, stuff like that. But I don't have silk touch for amethyst clusters, and I haven't found an amethyst cluster in this area yet. But eventually down the line, I do want to kind of put some amethyst clusters as kind of offerings for the old kings. Yeah, I think it kind of looks like a base. I forgot to put some cobbled deep slate up there, so this one's kind of done wrong, but it's okay. But as you can see, these little stairs are supposed to be the eyes, and then this is supposed to be the nose in the middle. And then these tough walls helps make this little ear looking thing. Since it doesn't connect with the stair, it kind of looks like an ear. And then you've got a deep slate brick stair as the mouth, and then some black stone, or maybe that's black stone. I think that's a black stone brick stair. But then you've got these chiseled black stone for the beard to kind of give it texture, that little beard texture. We use the same pillars on the outside. Oh, it's dark. Time to sleep. Whenever I'm inside the dwarven cave, I've been using this shaft of light that comes through the little section over there as kind of a clock. So it's kind of nice. You'll be able to, with the shaft of light, if it's like super bright, then it's like midday, afternoon. If it's like just kind of slightly light, then it's daytime. And then obviously when it's dark, you can't really see any shaft of light. Back to the dwarven hallway, we've got these little torches that we just use some wall and then a hopper and then the campfire. Kind of makes it look like a large torch that they use. And then I opted for a roof that wasn't completely flat and square, so it kind of does follow the shape of the door. The door kind of stops like right here, and then we just use polished andesite to kind of cover the little gaps. And then so since the doors are kind of a steampunk-ish vibe, they have some medieval tech, but they also have more advanced tech. So over here we've got a portcullis. This is kind of following the old tech of the Dwarven Kingdom. Eventually down the line they figure out technology and are able to build steampunk tech, but parts of the city are going to be old and medieval looking, and then other parts will have some more advanced technology like factories and whatnot. But we used, for the portcullis, we used some black stone, polished black stone for the actual gate. And then we used some netherite, or not netherite, what is that? The nether bricks, as these little stabby pieces that go into the little droppers on the floor there. So if there were to be a raid or whatever, or they try to lock down the city every night, they'll have the portcullis come down. That way, if anyone does break through the door, they still have a second line of defense. And then obviously there'd probably be some guards out here too to be another line of defense. But coming down into the actual hallway, or coming into the actual cave, we've got a little house right here, a little gatehouse that houses a person that would be kind of watching the gate all the time. I'm sure there'd be some guards here that would be able to notify the actual guard, since they don't have a direct line of sight towards the entrance. But we've got the gate or the portcullis controller here. So we built this little wheel here. Missing some things. There you go. So it's got a little portcullis wheel here that would have these kind of, I'll probably put some chains right here, but the chains would kind of signify the chains that hold the portcullis. So they'll have a lever here. They'll click the lever, and then this would either, so the wheel would wind up the door so that it can come upwards, but then with the click of a lever, the door would actually fall down. Now with the create mod, I'm sure I could make this actually function potentially, but I'm a redstone noob, and I also have never played on the create mod. That was one of the things that I wanted to do, was add the create mod to kind of add these moving elements to the game, because that's one of the major things that Minecraft is missing, just kind of movement and life. Because, you know, as big as this cave is, once I fill it up, it's still going to be pretty dead because there's going to be no moving parts. I will try to maybe add some like moving parts, and I could maybe add some villagers just wandering around, and that would give the area a little more life. But things like the create mod would help add movement, but it would also help add lag. So that is why I haven't added it. And on top of that, I kind of wanted to keep a more vanilla playthrough, just so that if the game updates, I can follow along with the updates. But to take a better look at the little gatehouse, it's a very, very tiny little house right here. I do need to cover these little gaps here in the roof there. But it's a very tiny little gatehouse that's just a little Dwarven guardsman would kind of staff. But anyways, one more thing that I do want to do in this episode is I want to take out the flooring here, and I do want to make kind of this extended road, kind of a main road for the Dwarven city, so that we can actually get some kind of a blueprint of what we're doing. So the main road is going to kind of snake around up all the way into this area right about here, and this will be the lower deck, where, or the lower part of the city, where kind of the regular more common citizens live. And then eventually down the line, probably some castle would be hiding in the back there. And then the upper deck, I imagine, would be, you know, the more upper class dwarves. So with the main floor, I think I want to have it be deep slate, so it'll be kind of this black street. I was kind of playing around with making it some stone types, just to make a little pathway, but I think having the streets look a little more distinct and a little more, you know, defined and different would be a little better. So we're just gonna do kind of like a street asphalt design, or it's not really gonna be a design, it's gonna be a very scattered build. It's gonna be mostly cobbled deep slate, I think, and then I think we'll probably add some basalt just to break up the texture a little bit. And there won't be any design for it, it'll just be a casual street. I'm gonna turn on the night vision here just to get a better recording. So we're gonna break down this floor and install a main road here. So I think we're gonna do a very rare time lapse. Let's get it. Alright, so this is what it looks like right now with no full bright on, and it's looking pretty snazzy. So I'm gonna turn on the night vision just so we can take a look. But so we use some regular basalt and some cobbled deep slate to help make this little road. I didn't do any design because it's kind of a winding road. I think for dwarves it does make sense to have, you know, pattern for the floor, but since it's not a straight line, it doesn't really make sense to do the pattern, or it's kind of difficult to do a pattern. So I just opted not to do the pattern and just make a little cobbled road that you might see in some medieval builds. It's looking pretty good in terms of like organics. It looks pretty good for, you know, how a city would develop. It's a little twisty and got some little turns and twists to it. But this is going to be the main line, the main street where kind of most of the foot traffic and wagon traffic, maybe even mech traffic, since they are steampunk dwarves, would be. And alongside the road, I'm thinking I'll be building quite some mostly builds that would be things like businesses and I don't know, maybe I'll have an iron factory right here. This looks like a pretty big spot that I could put an iron farm right around here. But eventually down the line, we'll kind of have this main road leading all the way to the back here. Leading all the way back here, there's actually another cave all the way down that hall. But we'll see how big the city actually gets before we kind of talk about that, since it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a large scope if I go back to that mountain, that cave as well. But eventually we're gonna also have these little axillary roads that will kind of come off of the main road. So I'm having one main road this way. I might have maybe a main road bisecting it. I'm not too sure. Right now, the way the cave is laid out, it's kind of hard to do that. But eventually we'll have these small little roads kind of leading out towards other builds. Kind of similar to where our home base is right now, our little starter base. So right when you enter the starter base, or right when you enter the Dwarven gate and after you exit the hall, you'll have this little area right here. And so I'll be building a road kind of connecting up to this little nook right here, where they'll have a little Dwarven community of Dwarven apartments. And then I think I talked about it in my other video, but I'll probably have a centerpiece right around here, while there's going to be builds kind of spread around the walls. But anyways, that is all the time we have for today. I appreciate y'all for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.